My brother-in-law got a GoPro camera for Christmas, and I borrowed it so I could take it to the bee yard and talk a little bit about hive tools. Now, most hive tools are just a paint scraper painted orange to help you find it in the grass. In fact, it's just a paint scraper. In fact, check out, here's just a paint scraper, and I like this one because look, it came from Sears, so it's got a lifetime guarantee. It's a Craftsman paint scraper hive tool. Now, we also have these hooked end hive tools, and the whole idea here is that we've got the knife edge that we can use to scrape propolis and pry boxes open, but we also have this hooked end that we're supposed to be able to use to pull the frames up. Now, what we're going to find is that this angle's just not right. You can't hardly, and this is wider actually than the space between frames, so this isn't the answer, I don't think. Now, there is an answer. I'm a beekeeper and I don't take no for an answer, and I decided that I had an idea of what's the perfect hive tool, and so I had it made. Here it is. This is what I call the perfect pocket hive tool. And the way this little guy works, most importantly, is I can just drop it down in my pocket there and leave it in my bee jacket. It'll fit in your jeans pocket too, in fact, so if you want to, but you just drop it down in your pocket. Now, let's see how we're going to use that perfect pocket hive tool to go inside, to use it to get inside a beehive. Now, what I'm going to do, let me take the cover off. I use a telescoping cover, and I use of what I refer to as a ventilated inner cover, but not your normal run-of-the-mill ventilated inner cover. You can see I've replaced the 8-gauge hardware cloth that comes in a standard ventilated cover with window screen. The whole idea with this window screen is in the summertime, when the hive beetle pressure is really strong, hive beetles aren't real bright, and they'll walk around all day long trying to find a way to get inside the hive, and if I come along, I can just squish them against the top of the cover. It makes the inner cover a barrier against hive beetles. Now, let's see how we're going to use this perfect pocket hive tool, and the ticket is, now a lot of guys are into digging the hives apart on the corners. I don't like it. In fact, this one's been kind of dug on the corner, but if you use it in between to loosen up the super here on top. This is their honey stores they've been working on for winter, and they still got plenty to eat. That's not a worry. Now let's see a little bit about how this hive tool works. Now, I leave the frames usually jammed to one side or another. See, I've got them all pushed that away, and it makes it easier for me to go looking inside the hive. If I wanted to pull that frame, for example, I could just reach in here with my hive tool. I got the flagged in here that lets me kind of use it like a pry bar to separate the frames and get them unstuck. This one's got a metal frame rest, and they're not too bad about attaching the frames to that metal frame rest. Now I've got the frame that I lined up in the hive that I want to remove. Then I take the hooked end, and you'll notice it's at a much shallower angle, and it's much narrower than that other hive tool we were looking at. Greatly improved. You start on the side opposite, which one? We were going to take this one out. So we start on the hive side opposite, and I just use the hive tool to raise that side of the frame. Come over here on this side, and I use it to raise the other side of the frame. And take it up. And then we can take a peek and see what we've got here. We got a little patch of brood there. Don't see the queen. Little patch of brood, not a whole lot. But that's okay, they're doing fine. I see some fresh larvae, so the queen's been here. Certainly that larva's not capped, so within the last week or so. It takes 3 days to hatch and 6 days before it's capped, so that was 9 days ago, and that's not quite ready to be capped. So I'm gonna drop that little guy back in there. Let's pull this next door neighbor out. If we need it, we can use the hive tool to lift it out. Here we've got a little bit bigger patch of brood. Not a whole lot of bees. That's why I wanted to look inside here. but I see lots of brood. They're getting started. They're not quite ready for springtime, but they're started. That's really not what I was wanting to show you anyway, was bees. What I was really most anxious to show you is the Perfect Pocket Hive Tool. I think there's something here that every beekeeper ought to have. They're not terribly expensive. They're made out of stainless steel, but it's ferritic stainless steel. And my whole idea here was had to make it out of ferritic stainless steel because it would be attracted to a magnet. And then I had this bright idea that I could just drop the magnet down into my hive tool pocket, and then I could reach down here through the, and can't see it, but then the hive tool sticks with the magnet. But the fact is, you may need that if you've got a big, one of these larger hive tools. But with this little guy, you just drop it down in your pocket, and it's cheap enough where if you want to, you can even put one. I had a fella bought some from me that he wanted to just put one in every hive. It's easy enough to just leave it laying on the top cover. Well, let's chase these guys back down and put them back together. It's a little bit cool today. Go down there, girls. Chase them down so I don't squish quite so many when I put the super back on. Super's got plenty of honey in it. It probably weighs 30 or 40 pounds would be my guess. So they're doing fine in the honey stores department. Always make sure it lines up good and snug. And there you have it. A quick little hive inspection. Reach down in my pocket here and show you one more time. That's the Perfect Pocket Hive Tool, I'm telling you. That's not too outrageous a claim, in fact, because really I'm not aware of any other pocket hive tool. This one here, though, works really good. You need one. Thanks. Talk to you later.